quick video, or I would say, better yet, quick conversation with people. It's my foundational statement for this Monday. Everyone trades time for dollars. Everyone trades time for dollars. This comes from a conversation that I was involved with or involved in this morning. And my question in the conversation was, what does wealth look like for you? How do you define wealth? What does wealth look like on a daily basis? And my response to my question was that my passive income on an annual or yearly basis surpasses my annual expenses. When I was in a conversation, I made the statement, wealth looks like for me that my passive income exceeds my expenses annually, yearly. So the response in the conversation was, write it down. Oh yeah, I got it written down. And I follow the plan that's associated with the goal daily. Please believe it. Please believe it. I begin to think about trading time for dollars. And I'm certain that on this Facebook platform and various other platforms that people are saying, don't trade time for dollars. And I've been wanting to say it too. But I also know that we always trade some time for dollars. This is what we have to ask ourselves. How much time am I exchanging for dollars? That's what we have to ask ourselves. How much time am I exchanging when it relates to dollars? So how much time am I using to exchange for dollars? In addition, the question we have to ask ourselves is this: what value am I producing in the time that I've been given? Because the reality of it is this: when an exchange occurs, people, companies, they're not paying you for your time. They're paying you for what they perceive as valuable to them. You never get paid for time. You never get paid for time. The time or the dollars per hour is merely a unit of measurement. That's all it really is a unit of measurement. That's universal in our culture. So I'm elevating us past this universal unit of measurement, because if we succumb to the universal unit of measurement I make this amount per hour, then you're going to tie yourself down because there's only so many hours in the day. Key word is value. I'm going to share this brief conversation with us for us to contemplate. We got to make the adjustments in our mentality. We got to continue to talk about it. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. True or false? There are people on the face of the planet that's being paid millions of dollars, thousands of dollars, that we will consider as wealthy in the context of finances, like money. But what we don't see is how much time those people have invested in their craft or discipline. And that's one of the separating factors that positions a person to receive massive amount of money in what we perceive as a minimum amount of time. One of the influential pieces to this puzzle is the people that we think about, when it comes to mind. People get paid massive amounts. One of the factors that we may overlook is that they have identified their gift, and that people, male or female, whether the person is an athlete, whether the person is an entertainer, whether the person is a CEO, whether the person is an executive producer of television, whatever it may be, that person has honed, has perfected, has been goated as it relates to their career. That's one of the missing keys. We will always trade time for dollars. The question is this: how much time will we trade? How do I minimize the amount of time that I exchange for dollars? How do I do this? That's how you minimize it. You have to become great at what you do. And when you become great at what you do, people recognize that. And as your mentality shifts, you don't settle for less than what the value that you are producing is worth. You don't settle for less. You hear this last statement too, and I've shared this before in previous conversations. Nobody can pay you what you're worth. That's impossible because you're human. They pay for the perceived value, and the perceived value is connected to your honing, your perfecting, your improving, your craft, your discipline, your vocation. And that comes through two components that people miss, other than athletes. Because athletes always have, number one, coaches. And athletes always practice. We need to practice and we need a coach. However, in a society of independence, greatness is never realized. Thought of the day. In a society of independence, greatness is never realized because we don't have a coach. We may practice. That may be true. But if you're gonna practice and practice effectively, gotta have a coach that's overseen. And a coach primarily that has been successful in whatever the task, the activity, the career, the business, the activity again, and the vocation that you find yourself involved in. We always trade time for dollars. Value is a component that minimizes the time that we'd have to use to exchange for the dollars that we receive.